Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. This is Mr. Dan Danielson. I am Roddy Reece. We're here to talk about all things professional wrestling. This week, we're going to be just focusing on WWE. We just got finished watching AEW Dynasty. Oh.
Duck Dynasty, mate.
I was saying Dynasty, and then he corrected me to Dynasty on the other show. So
that's how it
keep
works.
an eye out for that review later in the week.
Or if you didn't watch it, that's fine. Go and watch reruns of Duck Dynasty because that's more entertaining than that shit show of a pay-per-view that AEW put on for 4.5 fucking hours long.
So we're just going to focus on WWE right now. AEW we've touched on in another episode. We're going to kick it off straight into it. The kickoff on Raw.
Oh, yep.
The last day of the European tour, the WrestleMania tour. Cena and Cody Rhodes kicking off the show once again.
Now,
And before Cena even gets a word in,
Cody hits.
Cody's music hits. Boom, done. And we're getting a face-to-face promo battle.
And this is what you have wanted for weeks.
Absolutely.
And you
Not
said...
quite in the way that I expected it to happen. We never got a fine speech, sir, statement.
We got pretty close.
We got close. We got some very good quotes, which we're going to pull out shortly. But yeah, Cody took the lead on this one.
And I like the way that Cody took the lead, right? Where he starts it off as saying, you know, I'll do your job for you. John, I'll do it. What do you want to have a go at me first about my lisp? Every word that starts with S, like Stardust. That was a good little jab. What about the fact that I've got an arm tattoo on my neck? What about the fact that I got booed at my own company? And like he tried to start off on the front foot. And I think that was a good way for Cody to come out and be like, I know you, John. I know what you do on the mic. I know you're going to try and bury me.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Here, take your jabs because it's not going to work. It's not going to get me.
No, I'm not going to punch down to your level.
That's what John said. Won't punch down to your level because everyone protects you. You've been protected long enough. The line here, just to start John's
A lot
rebuttal.
of people talking about this line.
We've been saying for years that John Cena buries talent. I don't bury talent. I am talent. I bury mediocrity.
With Wade Barrett sitting right there on commentary.
Who got buried by John Cena, as you would be very well aware of.
Therefore, labelling him as mediocre.
And then obviously calling, you know, that your WWE champion was nothing more than his chauffeur, because obviously Cody used to drive John around for a while. Slimy pimp pocket who thinks just because he stole the blueprint he can run the kingdom. That's your why, Cody Rhodes, because you are with that, pointing at the title, disgusts me. You sat by my side for years and stole every secret you needed to be undeniable, but you are underwhelming. That
Hot start to the promo, dude. I was sitting there on my couch and I was like, oh, what a great way to kick off Raw.
the amount of times I went, ooh, and then they just kept going, ooh, again. They kept going.
It's like so many good moments from that promo.
What are we saying? He was protected. He's too rehearsed. You rely on your lazy gimmicks.
Made empires for billionaires and you just took their kids' money.
That is a fantastic line.
Chef's kiss.
The fact that he essentially called Cody out for being a fan, having, you know, his gimmick tattooed on him, like all the fans do. That's the reason why he doesn't want him to have the title.
Discreetly cover up my Undertaker tattoo.
Cody Rhodes is a generic mix of every superstar he's ever loved or every TV show that he's ever watched.
Cody Lander.
And then Cody starts. Cody gets his comeback. John, I didn't expect to say this, but I think you're right. Maybe I was chosen. But you know who chose me? They chose me.
Yeah.
The WWE Universe. They chose me. Can you say the same, John? Or was it one guy in an office that chose you that's not here anymore and we don't talk about him? So we've got a Tony Khan reference. We've got a Vince McMahon reference. We've got AEW references. All of this just going nuclear. The crowd in London.
Pulling punches at all.
Oh, the crowd in London were eating this up, right? Him saying that, you know, I'm Cody Rhodes, I'm a wrestler like my father before me. And if anyone's a company creation, John, it's you, yeah. John Cena.
The part that like really got me was when they were starting to wrap it up. And then Cody, you can probably pull out the quote for me, where Cody mentions that they never chanted that.
Yep. It's here. So as John is about to finish up, I never left because I've always been here. Because no matter what how high the hill is to climb, no matter what garbage they gave me, I find a way to make it great. You had to leave. You had to leave because at your best, you can't wipe my ass. I make empires for billionaires. All you've ever done is steal money from their kids. See you at WrestleMania, champ.
And then begins to stroll out the ring. And then Cody...
No, John. Hey, I just want to remind you, in all the time I've been here and everything that I've been through, never once has an audience, never once have they chanted at me, you can't wrestle.
And then the crowd does it again. You can't wrestle. And you could see the look. I could see the emotion in John's eyes when they panned close to him. Just like for him to hear those chants again after all that he's done for this business.
And to be fair,
for the last 15 years.
In the last 5 or so years where he has come back, he has wrestled.
And he's been great.
It was that mid-period of Super Cena where we didn't like it, where he couldn't wrestle. He was the 5 moves of doom. That's why they were called the 5 moves of doom, because that's all he did. Whereas recently, I think he's been a bit more mature in his in-ring capabilities, and he's been better.
Yeah.
Apart from that time when he tried to do that stupid dragon punch or whatever his finishing move.
Wasn't that from a movie?
Yeah, a movie with Jackie Chan or something, but then he tried to actually put it into his repertoire.
He won a match with it in Australia.
And I think on one of our early drafts, if you go through our YouTube, that was me drafting our worst finishing moves ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was
absolutely.
me. Look, this was superb. This is exactly what I wanted. If this is the last confrontation between Cody and Cody and Cena.
The Rock got mentioned. Let's note that down.
Yep.
Very
They kind of
briefly.
brushed over it, but he was mentioned. This was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
This is what we needed. Should this be the conversation that they had on the road, like the go home show?
Absolutely.
Quite probably.
Because, that's the question. Because as it stands now, John Cena doesn't have any dates until WrestleMania. So we still got 2 Monday Night Raws. 1 today
3.
by the time this goes out.
3?
No, we're 2 weeks out from Mania.
Oh, that's right. There's still 2 SmackDowns to go.
Yeah.
And there's 2 Raws to go.
So we've got Raw today when this is released. Mm-hmm. We've got Raw next week. What does Cody do on those?
Cody
or
goes
what
back
does
to
he go?
SmackDown.
Yeah, what does he do on SmackDown?
I don't know. I mean, SmackDown's enough of a mess as it is with everybody but Cody over there.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to have him over here.
Do they now pivot the Roman, Seth, and Punk stuff over to Raw for the next couple of weeks and have Cody do stuff on SmackDown?
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We'll see what happens.
I also think that you have to have The Rock cut a promo, have a video package, have something between
do one
now
of
and
his
maybe.
little selfie video packages that he was doing so much last year, which we've got none of this year.
That weird one of the Rodeo. That was weird.
Yeah. They got pretty same towards the end of it.
They did, but yeah, there needs to be something. Look, this was absolutely brilliant. I don't think you can call it a knockout to either Cody or Cena. I think that they both put their best barbs out there. They both gave as much as they took, and I think that it's probably one of the best back and forth promo battles that they have had in 10 years, 15 years.
I think Cody won this promo battle too.
I mean, as he should.
Yeah. But I wanted Cody to get knocked down a couple pegs, you know?
Oh, I think
because it feels like he's going into WrestleMania on too much of a high. Unless that's their whole plan, it's going to be too much of a high, and everyone's going to be like, Cody's winning this, and then
Cena
that's where they chop him down, you know?
Possibly.
Joey,
I think Cena wins. I really enjoyed this. I love to see what they're going to do in the next couple of weeks, if it's going to include The Rock, or if there's a surprise Cena thing. I think maybe them not advertising Cena allows them, the crowd, not to have the expectation now that we have to see this happen. Cody can come out, cut his promo, do all his things, and say that he won everything. And then when Cena's music hits, the crowd's going to pop even bigger because they didn't expect it to happen this time. So maybe they keep that up their sleeve.
I'm not going to go down the running order of what you've written, but we're going to quickly pivot to the Women's World Championship scene on Monday Night Raw. We had Io versus Rhea Ripley in a match for the Women's World Championship to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, which is the dumbest stipulation for a match for a champion leading up to WrestleMania.
considering that the challenger is the referee
Yes.
to see who she wants to face at Mania, because I mean Bianca's
Make sense, bro.
Bianca's not a heel, but if she wanted to play heel in this situation, and she does not want to face Rhea, Io hits a moonsault. 1, 2, 3. We're done. Oh, look at that 3 count. Sorry, I'm the ref.
No, what a shame.
It didn't happen. Obviously, it was a double DQ because they both ended up punching Bianca at some point, or shoving, interacting, hitting her. So she called a double DQ, and then Rhea just went crazy, and then
Rhea was standing tall in a Raw.
Avalanche Riptide.
Yep.
Surely Adam Pearce, who we said last week has lost control of the locker room, he's got to call this now a triple threat or do something about it, because he's got to fix it. And Rhea's going to want her way in because she got screwed by Bianca. Bianca's already won her way in because she won the chamber. Io's the champion. Well, what do you have to do?
What do we do?
But I mean, this was a really, I kind of felt like an unnecessary step to get there,
Yeah, absolutely.
because I would have been really disappointed if Rhea had have beaten Io
To get that title back. Yeah.
A, to get the title back, and to then beat like Io's streak over her. That would have really annoyed me that happened on this show. So at no point did I feel like there was a clean finish one way or the other. There was always going to be some form of shenanigans somewhere to cause this to come into a triple threat. But we knew that 3 weeks ago. Why do we not just
Why are we
call
doing
it 3
this?
weeks ago and then do what you're doing with Seth Roman and Punk, where they're having nice promo battles and different segments and stuff? Like, maybe you want to pitch this story differently. I get it.
Maybe that's why they haven't opted to do it, because they don't want to run 2 triple threat angles at the same time.
Whilst
like
running two
week.
triple threat angles at the same time.
It's weird. Let's pivot now to the men's world heavyweight championship scene with Gunther versus Jimmy Uso, and what happened with that match.
Thank God this happened.
Thank God. And we said it like when this match got announced, that having Jimmy beat down was the fire that needed to be lit under Jay. And being handcuffed with
Cable
ties to the ring and having to watch your brother get beaten down in a bloody mess right in front of you when you're just like fingertips away from being able to save him. Perfect TV. I felt pretty uncomfortable in this segment because so much blood. Gunther was just covered in it. He looked like an absolute animal. He was just not relenting whatsoever.
That was
and then we shit on AEW for it. We're going to shit on WWE for it too. Unnecessary. But that shot to end that segment of him standing tall over Jimmy, laughing, covered in blood, holding the title up. What a shot, dude.
Absolutely. 100%.
What a shot.
Nailed it. This is what we had said for weeks. We needed something to step up. Now I would like to see the reverse on Raw this week. Maybe you have Jay go out and absolutely destroy Kaiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you have the heel Gunther laugh it off, because I don't care.
This Kaiser.
I don't care about
They've not
anybody else.
really
It's about me.
been much of a unit as Imperium lately.
No, they haven't. Not at all. And that's the point. Like, you think Jay thinks, I know how to get back at you. I'll do what you did to me. And then Gunther's like, nah.
So, I don't care.
Didn't bother me. That then just builds Gunther up even more.
Yeah,
it gets
absolutely.
more babyface heat behind Jay. Because we've said this for a while, and we're going to have a video about the Rumble winner to Mania and why maybe this shouldn't be the main event and why that's justified. And I think a lot of that falls on this story not being where we wanted it to be. And Jay, I guess, being as over as he is, but not as popular, I get, or he's popular, but not as over in ring and stuff as what the other main events will be, as your Cenas and your Punks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This, though, this shot in the arm that Jimmy has given this storyline, the fact, like you said, with Jay being cable tied and just reaching, and couldn't reach, and the fact that Gunther knew it, and he had Jimmy, and he was just sleepering, choking him out, just out of reach, right in his face. Exactly what we wanted, because that now gives so much more sympathy to Jay. And people like us that, look, Jay's winning this title, right? We know it.
Yeah.
The second he won the Rumble, you're like, oh, he's going to win the world title. Got it, cool. Didn't care. Let's just get me to the match and see how it goes. Now I'm actually invested. You've now put some story into this, and I'm like, I now want to see what Jay does this week, and I want to see how Gunther fights back again, because this raised the stakes from a 3 out of 10. We're up to an 8 now, guys.
Yeah.
We're right back up there.
This has got I think a lot of people have turned a page now that this has happened. This has got a lot more people invested in the match than previously.
And keep the foot on the gas, please.
Yeah, you can't let up in the lead up to WrestleMania. Other match confirmed for WrestleMania that a lot of people are talking about. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
Two men that have made their careers very famous from previous times in Japan.
So we've got a picture right here. Luke will edit it in.
Look, I think that this was expected.
Yeah.
And I think we've said this before, this will be a fantastic match, but the feud itself has been underwhelming.
Yeah, so
and
far.
I think that nothing from this promo battle really changed my mind on that.
No. I can't even remember most of what was said, to be honest.
There's a lot of stuff about how Prime sucks.
What a surprise.
Let's see if there's any lines.
Did you know they released a pizza-flavoured Prime?
No.
Special release, like they did with the KFC one.
I don't even remember a KFC flavoured one.
Logan will just go.
Was this on April Fool's? Did you get suckered into it like an LA Night wedding thing?
No, I actually watched a video of Logan giving pizza-flavoured Prime to Dom. And he's like, throw it in the trash. It's great.
Look, I'm just trying to see some of the lines from the promo, and they weren't great. I mean, they talked about being, they have daughters and they want to, get their respect and stuff. And then Logan says, I'll ask you for your advice, AJ Styles, but you know what they say, don't take advice from anyone you wouldn't want to trade places with.
Why wouldn't he? Like, one of the greatest wrestlers ever.
Yeah, look, I can't remember any good lines from this promo, to be fair.
I'm sure they're going to put on an absolute banger match, but so far, for that being the first promo battle between them in the lead up to WrestleMania, yeah.
He blocked the Styles Clash, hit him with the pulverizer, and then the pulverizer.
That pulverizer looks fucking sick, dude.
Yeah, it really is. And the way AJ is such a professional at selling, and I think we called it a couple of weeks ago that there's going to be a spot where they're both on either side of the ring and they do the launching thing and
they're going to
Styles clashes or forearms, phenomenal forearms. It's going to be a fun match. Glad that it's booked now because you can kind of just let it be.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things to touch on Raw before we move along. We had the return of a tag team on Monday Night Raw last week.
We did.
Tyler Bate has returned. We got New Catch Republic. I love how we both did the accent.
Republic.
And then they lost to the New Day.
That's a bit chaff, isn't it?
It's a bit chaff, mate. I can't do it as good as you.
Bloody royal mugs, innit?
Yeah. Speaking of mugs, New Day then went on to have a bit of a face-off with the Viking Raiders. That's official for Raw today.
Oh, they're doing it this week, are they?
Yeah,
and
it's
there'll be
not
no
even on
finish,
WrestleMania.
and then we'll put it at WrestleMania or something.
What are you doing with the tag team division, bro?
I loved seeing a big, strong boy back, though.
Yeah, I love seeing Tyler Bate back.
That was he looked fantastic. The short hair and the moustache, it's an interesting look. We'll get used to it.
Yeah. He used to look like that back in the day.
Yeah, I know. When he was Mustache Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think this is probably what they need to add another tag team around, because SmackDown, you've got like 5 or 6 different teams all around it, and Raw, you didn't really have any actually invested tag teams. Putting New Catch Republic back out there. Maybe after Mania, you get the Lucha Brothers as well. You got New Day, you've got the Viking Raiders.
So many good tag teams.
Then you've got a bit of strength. Yeah. You can have a proper division. So good to see them back. Shame that they lost in London, but New Day needed the win. New Day needed the heat to go into Mania.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Speaking of Penta, we had the tag team match with Penta and Bron Breakker versus...
Yeah.
Not versus Sarah Miedo.
No, but he is Zero.
He is, yeah. Dom and Finn, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Carlito just hangs around and eats apples. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. Like,
And
what a
Og
sweet
was
job.
Raquel like a weirdo.
Well, there's got to be a payoff to that story at some point.
Surely. It's kind of funny. I think Raquel touched on it in the CVV interview that she did.
I haven't watched that.
She actually idolizes Carlito, so it's kind of funny that they're having this dynamic
Where
on
she
TV where
doesn't
she just
care, right?
hates him. Bron accidentally spears Penta to cost them the win.
Mm-hmm.
So Judgment Day wins. But this is all leading to the Fatal 4-Way. It's gotta.
Well, Finn obviously afterwards was like, I got the pin over them. I've pinned them. I should probably get my title shot. I'll go talk to Adam Pearce. And then Dom standing there and Liv's like, oh, what do you mean he got the pin? You both got the pin. You won the
both
match
won
too,
the
Dom.
match,
You were there. Why don't you go get a title shot? That little bit of dissension I quite like. It's 100% going to be a fatal 4-way. It's going to be a heap of fun.
Dom's going to win.
Dom is going to win.
Dom's going to win,
the
dude.
title. Please do it. Pull the trigger.
That'd be great. Why not? Why not?
Well, did you see all the photos of him and Liv doing the Netflix tour of India?
Yes, I did.
That's
Pretty nice outfits. Yeah, they look really good.
That'd be great when he's got a IC strap across his shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to quickly touch on NXT for a second to touch on the fact that Ricky Saints has won your NXT North American Championship. He's defeated Sean Spears, and he was then attacked by Ethan Page after the match. All ego Ethan
Hang on.
Page. So you're telling me
Yep.
a former AEW talent beat another former AEW talent for the North American Championship.
And then got interrupted by another former AEW talent.
Yeah, and then the show ended with chants of Tony fumbled. Mate, look. I know a lot of AEW stands might be like, oh, they're taking shots at AEW for no reason. AEW started taking shots first. Sometimes it takes NXT a little bit longer to like get those shots back, but when they do, how impactful was that?
I mean, look, glass houses, or
The stones and glasses houses. You know the thing.
real glass, if you will.
Let's move on to SmackDown in Chicago. Opening the show. Hometown hero, as always, CM Punk. Mm-hmm. Wasn't supposed to be here.
Well, he was supposed to be in Chicago. Like,
He was supposed to be in
that's-
Chicago, but he was apparently never meant to. I heard it right. He was never meant to be alive, right? He was
Yeah, he came out blue as a baby.
Yeah. choking. Like, that's crazy. Like, the fact that people can overcome that and because that affects a newborn immensely and like their growth development in the future. So kind of crazy to think that a blue baby turned into CM Punk.
Are you saying that my child could be the voice of the voiceless?
He could be.
Because he had complications when he was born
Mate,
too.
that kid's cooked in a good way.
I'm going to pin on him that you've got to be a world champion, main event WrestleMania, bud.
Absolutely.
Or you're not worth it. The start of the promo obviously is the very pro-Chicago CM Punk side, right?
Always.
People didn't want me here. I was never supposed to be here. Every time I came out on television, every city all across the world, my goal is to make everybody cheer and everybody love me. I've done that every single day, every single time since I laced my boots up. Hell, every single time I go to the grocery store and they tell me you're not supposed to be here, I buy my groceries, I pay the man, and I leave. Nothing's changed. And that's really, I think, grounding the CM Punk character. And I think in terms of this build to Mania and this triple threat, I think they're very clearly trying to make Punk the everyman character in the triple threat.
It definitely feels like that.
Roman's your tribal chief. He is still the upper echelon of superstar. Like, he is the one you can't touch because it's still Roman Reigns.
And then there's Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to Seth. But I think Seth is that sort of the crazed one in here that's like really...
Well,
what
after the contract signing, yes, he's the crazy one.
He got a little bit crazy. And then Punk is the everyman. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be around. But now I'm getting to main event WrestleMania. I'm getting to live out my dream. And the hard work works. He's a product of Chicago. He's a product of his people. He's a product of his environments. I like that he, has, in most cases, avoided taking direct digs at AEW on these bigger promos. So that's probably a good thing from his perspective. But, this promo, obviously, where he finishes, or he tries to finish it, said he's got a date at WrestleMania, and I promise you, I'm going to whip Seth Rollins' ass, and I'm going to put a beating on the tribal chief Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. Whole crowd pops. We're great. We're ready to go. And then,
ladies and gentlemen, we have the mighty Paul Heyman, WWE Hall of Famer, come out.
Yep.
Punk, can you just tell me what the favour is?
Well, hang on. You didn't tell me that Roman's not here? Roman's not here? I'm not telling you the favour.
He's not here yet.
And the ECW chance, because obviously Paul Heyman and ECW.
Yeah, obviously.
But the fact that this show started off so hot and everybody wants to know the favour and Punk just plays to it is like, tell me when he gets here.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you.
And let's just cut to that. Because later in the night, a car does roll up. Paul Heyman's like, yes, my tribal chief, you have arrived. Seth Rollins gets out of the car.
Yeah.
Gives him that classic cheesy laugh. And then later in the night, Roman Reigns actually arrives. Comes out to the ring, and he was in the ring in about 20 seconds, which is very un-Roman-like. He gets Chicago to acknowledge him, and they do. And then he calls out CM Punk.
Oh, but no, before that.
What? What did I miss?
Acknowledge me. And wise man.
Yes, my tribal chief. I forgot the whole crux of this.
Is he here?
Yes, my tribal chief.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about, wise man.
Yes, my tribal chief. I'm Paul Heyman?
Yeah,
Is
you're Paul Heyman on this. Is he still talking about this favor?
Yes, my tribal chief.
Oh, Chicago. I don't know how to deal with this guy. Wise man.
Yes, my tribal chief.
Should I share a secret with Chicago?
A secret?
A secret with
Yes,
Chicago?
my tribal chief.
And then he essentially says that CM Punk wouldn't be here without me. It's all. The whole main event of WrestleMania is because of me, and that's when Seth Rollins comes in.
Yes.
Now you go back to what you're talking about.
Yeah, so
My tribal chief.
I really want to touch on that as I was impersonating Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
His repeated use of the same 3 or 4 words really led a massive hand to the emotion that would come later in this promo. Seth comes out and interrupts Roman Reigns. I'm sure you can pull out some quotes for me because I don't quite remember what was said, but you can probably get the gist of it. Oh, good on you, Roman. You brought CM Punk into the garden. This is all your fault, blah, blah, blah.
You don't see, yeah. What does he say here? Every time you step outside of your little universe, reality bites you in the ass. Example A, heist of the century. Example B, the main event of WrestleMania last year. I'm wondering the same thing. You are Chicago. What the reality is, Roman, you underestimate. You think you're above CM Punk. You think you don't have to worry about CM Punk. You think you can ignore him and he goes away. Tried that, doesn't work. And then Roman is like, look, the reality is, Seth, you're untrustworthy. I can't say the word loyalty, but you have no clue what that means. And then obviously that's tying into all of the stuff with the Shield, the multiple turns. We've said this before on this podcast so many different times, but the promo packages that WWE can put together for a feud are
Untouched.
Absolutely untouched. The one that they showed before this happens where it's like they picture them getting off that helicopter in London and walking into the Shield. You can see them coming in doing the fists. You see the chair shot from Roman to Seth at WrestleMania last year. You see the chair shot from Seth to Roman to break up the Shield. All so perfectly put to these words that they're saying in these promos. All cut to beautiful visuals of their history for the last 12 years together. It's phenomenal. And then Seth just says, look, you're the one that called Punk out here. I'm here because I want to hear it too. So come on, Punk.
Out comes Punk. I don't think they really dilly-dallied much once Punk got in the ring.
Not really. So Punk just says the favour. What's the favour? This is about friendship. It's about legacy. It's about promises made and promises kept. This is about loyalty. And then he starts talking to Paul.
Yeah.
He's like, Paul, this goes back to 4400 Cheversfield Road, where on day 1 I showed up and they told you that I don't belong. And they told you to fire me. And you said no.
There was a line in there. I can't remember exactly what the words were. But when Punk's talking to Roman and talks about your wise man, my best friend, when he called Paul his best friend, that hit me. That was such a special moment.
And I like the line. And I said, I'm sorry that I've made this about me, but do you remember this, Paul? I said what I can do for you. And in that moment, you said, Punk, when you main event WrestleMania, force them to deal with us. Well, they aren't here anymore, so I'm going to force you, my tribal chief. I'm going to force you out of your comfort zone. I'm going to force you to deal with us. Because at WrestleMania, in the main event, in my corner, your wise man, my best friend, Paul Heyman. That's your favour. That's what we thought it was going to be. And the reaction to Seth to just breaking down laughing.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that Roman just looks at this and laughs it off and is like, wise man, tell him, no way, you love me. You're not going to do that.
And this is where that whole repeated, yes, my tribal chief. Yes, my tribal chief. And Paul doesn't say anything.
Let's run that story again. Roman Reigns. I'm Roman Reigns because, you know, chiseled facial hair. It's me. You're Paul Heyman again. That's the favor? You understand he loves me, right? He needs me. I saved him. Even if I let him, he wouldn't. Wise man?
Yes, my tribal chief.
Let this desperate fool down easy, will you? Are you crying?
I'm not going to start crying. I'm too happy.
You better them up and tell him no. Because I took you in. I made you relevant. Tell him no. I'm going to give you one more opportunity. Tell him no.
No, my tribal chief. I can't do that. It's like building and building and building to that crescendo and just being like, no. First time. Well, one of the first times that he's just like gone against anything the tribal chief has said.
To Roman. Because obviously
Roman directly.
there was the pop last year when Solo tried to get him to acknowledge him and he said, you are not my tribal chief.
Yeah.
And then he got powerbombed through a table. At this point, Roman turns, tries to punch, beat him up, and then CM Punk picks him up, GTS's him, and Roman falls like a...
He just crumpled.
What a sell. That was a brilliant sell.
Crumpled.
But this to me, like, this is so superbly done. And this is what we loved with the Bloodline story from the last couple of years, was that every promo pulled back on something from before.
Yep.
Everything that Punk said went back to, like, in the second time that he came out, went back to his first promo at the start of the show, which has gone back to his whole career, which has gone back to everything that him and Heyman have done. From the point when he saved Heyman from Tama Tonga and Solo and stuff last year, and he asked him to take him with him. From the fact that they had that conversation about the favourite before War Games, to this point now, everything is there for a reason and everything is said for a reason, and they've weaved it in perfectly. And the character work of all of them, specifically Heyman, because for that guy to just cry on demand on national television and react, he's so good.
I wonder if he does the old tweezers in the pocket trick.
Or just pinches himself.
Yeah, just pinches himself like Joey Tribbiani.
But the Punk with his just stoic face the whole time, like he knew what he was doing. He knew the favor the whole time. He had it in his pocket. Seth, no clue what was happening, saw this happening. Laughs hysterically because you know what? Now that means that Punk has an advantage, but it takes Roman down a peg. Everything's going to be a shambles. Great. That's what he wants because that gives him a chance for a bit of chaos.
Does this lead to what everyone's been theorizing about Heyman siding with Seth? Because it's so unexpected. Because Seth at the moment feels like a bit of an outsider. He's just the third wheel in this situation.
So my opposite pitch to that, and a friend of ours that we were talking to the other night just said that Seth feels like you said, he's pitched in. He's the third party to this. He's not relevant. You don't need him. Mm-hmm. It's Punk and Roman. This story is about right now. You don't need Seth Rollins. Do you know how you make this about Seth Rollins? That on Monday Night Raw, you're having a promo where, you know, Heyman's out there trying to convince Punk, hey, look, are you sure that's what you want to do? Yes, I'm your best friend. I'm the wise, but is this really a good decision? Seth comes out and says, why would you side with Punk? Like, yeah, you're best friends, but, you know, you've got Roman. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. This is silly. He then goes to attack Punk and instead
it's Paul.
Takes out Heyman. And you have Seth curb stomp Paul Heyman square in the ring.
I was sitting here thinking you were building up to it. I was like, he's got to stomp Heyman, isn't he?
And if it's in between Punk and Roman and Heyman gets stomped and both of them can't stop it, and then they're both
just like frozen. Oh.
And then they both want Seth, and Seth just rolls out of the ring. That's it. That's how you get Seth into this match.
Oh, this is great.
It's all about Heyman.
Cooking.
Always been about Heyman.
I will quite happily eat my words at this stage because I said the favor's not coming into play until later this year or next year because that's how Paul works. He plans that far in advance. So I'm going to happily eat my words on this one.
Yeah, but he planned this from 2016 or whatever 2011 on Raw when he said to Punk that when you're main eventing WrestleMania, we're going to walk down that thing together.
Yeah. The ability to tie that back is just ridiculous. I'm going to move on and talk about some other stuff from SmackDown.
Chef's kiss storytelling.
Yes, absolutely.
AEW, take notes.
Let's pivot to some fucking horrendous storytelling.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I'm going to...
AEW, don't take notes on this part because this...
No. Even my wife was like, this is terrible. And we are, of course, talking about the Charlotte and Tiffy promo. And I'm done. I'm done with the glaze of Charlotte. being made out like she's the best thing for women's wrestling. Same with Mercedes. They are both the two worst people from the Four Horsewomen. Becky and Bayley trump them in every aspect. I'm so sick of Charlotte being made out like she's actually the queen and she's the top dog of women's wrestling. She could not hold a fucking candle in this promo because she kept getting flustered by a crowd who she should have expected to boo her.
Absolutely, they're going to boo her. Chicago.
I'm sick of everyone saying that she's the best in the ring because you look at all of the greatest matches that she's had. She's had them with other fantastic wrestlers, and I guarantee you they've carried her part of the way. And you watch every Charlotte match where everyone's like, oh, that was a bad match. That's because of so-and-so that Charlotte was facing. No, it's because Charlotte's ego gets in the way and she doesn't want to do favors for people. Mm-hmm. And after this promo, Charlotte's been in the business now for,
Tiffy!
12
Tiffy!
years. Like,
what did you say? It's so squeaky, Tiffy!
Stooping to...
It's so squeaky!
Can you shut up now? I'm trying to make a fucking point.
I'm just trying to how bad Charlotte was.
Like... being a consummate professional like she is in the business for so long and stooping to pathetic imitations in a promo because you're so flustered. Ridiculous. And I saw, before I actually watched the promo, I saw people coming to Charlotte's support because of the comments that Tiffy made about Charlotte coming out on whatever fucking talk show it was and talking about her divorce. You're tracking after your dad in several aspects in life. And capping off the promo with saying, after WrestleMania, you're going to be alone just like you are outside of life. What is that now? 0-3? Drops the mic out of the ring.
She woos.
Props to Tiffy. I'm loving it from Tiffy's side. I'm done with Charlotte, dude. I'm fucking done. And mark my words, Charlotte's ego will get in the way of this being a good match at WrestleMania. This will be the equivalent of Jimmy versus Jey Uso because Charlotte won't be able to put her ego aside and help prop up the future of the women's division. But I'm done with my rant. Say whatever you need to say.
So squeaky! Tiffy!
So pathetic, dude. Like, you've been in the business for 12 years and that's what you do.
I can't defend it, man. It was cringeworthy. It was terrible. And I feel that this goes to show a couple of weeks ago when Charlotte sort of took Tiffy off script a little bit on their sit-down interview, talked over the top of her and ruined that. That was Charlotte trying to prove a point. Being like, hey, rookie, you're not on my level, leave me alone. And I think this in ring was a bit more, the fact that they had to have Wade Barrett in the middle to kind of like separate them and stuff, I think was there for this to happen. Can you stop it? Yeah. And Wade didn't. Wade just like, I've got no idea what to do with this shit because it's going bad.
What was he gonna do?
Just talk over them and say, shut up, women. We can't have this horrible promo. Like, do something. Like the fact that it went off script so badly with obviously her calling out her personal life, and whether or not that's off script or not, maybe it'll come out later that it was part of the plan. I don't think so. The line from Charlotte at the end, there's no one Ludwig Kaiser's in my DMs. I don't
Childish.
know, but at no point has anything in WWE canon have Tiffany Stratton and Ludwig Kaiser together.
No.
Not once on television have they even had an interaction where you would think that they were together. So that is a personal attack at Tiffany Stratton, knowing who her boyfriend is, not at her character, knowing who she's with. So that is Charlotte taking that too personally. Yeah, look, sure. Tiffy went a bit too far with the divorce line. But fine. Charlotte, as Charlotte Flair and as Ashley, whatever her surname is, I can't remember, said that on a podcast that was then tweeted out by her and put out in the social media thing, that her character is now... And everybody knew Charlotte and Andrade were together.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they even had matches and stuff early on a while ago. Possibly. Don't quote me on that one. Come in the comments and tell me if I was wrong. But I think it was much more formalized that Charlotte and Andrade were a thing than what Tiffany and Ludwig are.
Yeah.
So for her to drag that up and make that personal jab at Tiffy at the end, probably uncalled for. And just the squealing and the childishness of them. This promo has made both of them look like crap. And I am now only invested in watching this match to see where Charlotte stiffs Tiffy and which move that they screw up because she sandbags her or they don't want to do a spot and Tiffy tries to go for the spot and Charlotte doesn't want to and it goes horribly. That's all I'm watching this for now because I don't care and unfortunately, I don't want to see either of them as the champion. This has ruined Tiffy time for me right now. And I think Tiffy needs a big reset to get away from Charlotte and Charlotte needs to be as far away from Tiffy as possible because this has not gone well for either of them.
I've
You've
said
had
my
your rant.
piece. Let's move on to the other women's topic from SmackDown. Jade Cargill versus Naomi has been made official for WrestleMania. The first women's singles match at WrestleMania in, I can't remember what the figure was. I think it was like 11 years. That's not revolving around a title.
Correct. Non-title singles match.
How crazy is that? But this is going to be a good one, I reckon.
I think these two will have a good match. I'm still not sold on the caution tape gear from Naomi.
I think she was still coming out to her glow music. Kind of annoyed me, but like...
Give it time. Give it time to change it.
Hopefully she gets something new because that in and of itself is part of the reason why I got sick of Naomi to begin with. I'm really liking her character at the moment. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
caution tape stuff aside, she's doing really well with her promos and her like letting that anger and emotion come out while she's performing in the ring. So I'm really excited to see how this match happens at WrestleMania.
And leading into it, sorry, with saying proceed with caution as like her tagline type thing. I think that's good, but then I think you need to, if you're going to do that, make that her character. Give it new music, give her a new Titantron with the caution tape and stuff all over
the tape
it.
just like rolls across the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have good artistic ideas sometimes, but I can't get it out. I can say it, but I can't actually do it. We had Rey Fenix debut on SmackDown this week.
We did.
And what better person to pit him against
Than Andrade.
Nathan Fraser?
Oh, it wasn't Andrade?
No.
It's meant to be Andrade for weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah, the story like 3 weeks ago when they said he was going to debut before Mania was meant to be Andrade.
Oh.
Why they've dropped that, not sure. But
Charlotte-related stuff?
no, I assume it's not that. I assume it's more like, hey, just let him have a big win and not tie him against Andrade yet.
Yeah,
And
I can see that because that's probably going to be something big for the lucha culture, having those two face-offs.
Yes,
So
and it should do.
delaying that, it's probably a good idea.
Ex-AEW star Penta, ex-AEW star Rey Fenix, ex-AEW star Andrade.
Why WWE, AEW.
Still ex-AEW.
Flip-flop. And apparently, like, people are rumoring that he's going to go back to AEW anytime soon.
Who, Andrade?
Yeah.
Oh,
hilarious. Hilarious. Moving on.
Then you're going to have maybe a mask versus hair match against Chris Jericho or something. Who gives a shit?
Well, he's not wearing a mask anymore.
Well, maybe he will start wearing a mask and go back there
No,
as...
he can't because he respects lucha libre culture. And when you demask, you're done. You don't wear the mask anymore.
Well,
Unlike one particular Rey Mysterio,
shots fired.
the men's tag team division is superbly average at the moment. I can't even remember who won that number one contenders match. I don't even remember what happened.
The Motor City Machine Guns won because someone took off the top turnbuckle and Ciampa's head hit it and then he pinned him.
Right, okay.
I can't remember what happened with the rest of the match because it was mid as crap.
And then they had Pretty Deadly and
Melody Miz.
Melody Miz face off backstage.
Yep.
Oh, him.
Oh.
Miz is forcing it too much.
And you could tell Mello's like, I'm not really
He's
a huge
so
fan
sick of it
this.
already. He's so sick of it already.
But that's fine to me because then you can have Mello turn on Miz.
Yeah.
And then he gets to be popping away he goes.
Yeah.
This is fine. Miz is that conduit that allows you to have someone turn on him all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. The last big piece of news to talk about from SmackDown before we wrap things up.
That's why we're wearing our shirts, isn't it?
Oh, we haven't even talked. I was going to talk about Jacob Fatu getting United States title shot.
I don't really care. That match was mid.
He's getting a United States title shot at WrestleMania.
A couple of fun spots.
Hopefully he beats LA Knight, and then that can like properly start the dissension with Solo.
Yes, over a title and he needs.
Yes.
So the actual
I forgot that the whole reason why we're wearing these shirts is to talk about Kevin Owens.
I'm gonna get emotional,
dude,
man.
It's so sad because he came out on an interview after SmackDown to talk about it.
I haven't watched that one yet.
I haven't watched
from
it.
your mum's basement or whatever.
Probably. He said that he got mad about the fact that it was leaked beforehand. Which is like when you have stuff like this happen, you want to just go out there and you want to talk to people without people knowing or expecting like what you're going to discuss. So having that leak early was a bit annoying for Kevin. I got baited by Santi's video because it said Kevin Owens retires, ? And I was like, shit,
What?
I was in Sydney. I was at a pub drinking. So I was like, shit, I got to sit here and watch that. Neck injury, unforeseen return date. I don't know what else to say, man. This is just depressing. Like, this feud with Randy was heating up. It's going to be a great match at WrestleMania.
I love Kevin Owens, obviously, right? His work from the last 12 months has been some of the best stuff he's done in terms of character and promo.
Yeah.
4 years. And you look at me putting that as high as I am right now, this is still the guy that 3 years ago main evented WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin on the KO show in a match. It's still the same guy that in the next year main evented WrestleMania winning the tag titles with Sami Zayn over the Usos. It's still the same guy that has had probably Cody Rhodes' best matches since he's won this title with him at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
It puts into so much perspective that Alabama Slam from the commentary desk into the ladder.
He did not name what match or what spot. Everyone's just assuming. I think
100%.
it would be a correct assumption given
that he landed on his neck.
Landed on his neck
ladder.
and it was just like crumpled in that position for an extended period of time.
But then a month later, he does a no holds barred match with Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. That was also
Probably made it
brutal,
worse.
where he went face first into a chair and like his work recently has been phenomenal. The build between him and Randy, where he was trying to gaslight him to be tag team partners, and then have the match, and then we're punt each other's head off. And he's going to pile driver him through the ring. Like, KO has been so relevant, so good, and so just, he's like the glue for what SmackDown has been for years. Because at any point of that show where you're like, this sucks, man. Like, I'm not enjoying Smack. 3 hours is boring. Oh, Kevin Owens is on for a good 25 minutes. Like, that was fucking tops. I love that.
Yeah.
He's in the car interviews with Michael Cole and stuff. Like, he was just, everything he was given, he made better.
Yeah.
And for him to possibly not be able to come back to wrestling is brutal, man. Because we've talked on this pod before, and I, was saying that I was a big Ring of Honor fan a while ago. The El Generico and Kevin Steen stuff, all of his career in Ring of Honor back in the 2010s and 2011, that sort of stuff, those ladder war matches. From going to that to his black and gold NXT run, for his coming up to the main roster with John Cena on the US title Open Championship stuff. He's never dropped the ball. KO, as the best friend of Chris Jericho, was superb. He was on the list. Then there was the list of KO. Every single thing that KO has been given has been great. And he's so well respected. And I think, to even go a little bit more personally, when we were in Perth for Elimination Chamber the other year, him and Rhea Ripley were at the local wrestling show, and they were just sitting at the back trying to stay out of the light of everybody. They weren't taking anything away from anyone. But, Lockie saw him and went up and said, hey, can I get a photo and stuff? And KO shook your hand, and he was a lovely gentleman. He was an absolute...
He's such a nice guy.
Perfectly nice bloke, and didn't have to go out of his way to do that. He could say, no, sorry, man, like, it's not here for me. We're here for those wrestlers. But he didn't. Yeah. He took those photos. He helped people out. It's the same we heard when he was on Rottnest Island, that people were there just getting bunches of photos with him because he's such a nice guy. This sucks. If this is proper, KO can't return for several years, has a really bad neck injury a la Edge and Stone Cold and stuff. Big E. We don't want to see it.
No.
So fingers crossed he can come back in some capacity. But yeah, it really, really sucks because the build for this at Mania was fun. Everything KO's been touching has turned to gold, and I wish the best for him as a wrestler and the best for him as a human being, man, because I love KO. I really do.
Yeah, I can't summarize that any better. I just hope that, I'm sure he will, he can lean on other people that have had neck injuries previously. Saraya, Edge, Daniel Bryan, Stone Cold, like Big E as well. I'm sure he's going to reach out to them. Everyone's going to reach out to him as well. Just speedy recovery. Hopefully we do get to see him back in the ring at some stage.
I guess the one question that sort of comes out of that is what happens to Randy now?
Yeah. Well, he gave a second RKO to Nick Aldis, Which
after the money paid for the last year.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
that
I love that like people reference that immediately. It's like, he's like, Randy, this is for $100,000. The fine was only for 50. He's like, that's for the next one. He got his next one in. He got the next one in. Immediately people started speculating Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. Hell yeah. I was like, man, that could be pretty cool. I would like to see a similar thing happen with Seth Rollins, where like his WrestleMania is in doubt. Just give me a WrestleMania match and you can pit me against anyone, but don't tell me who it is. And we get the same thing. And we both had the same train of thought at some point today. Randy's in the ring, he's come out, the lights are down, and then just
I don't know how to do the rest of his music.
Alistair Black.
Alistair Black comes out.
Alistair Black, which is apparently been confirmed by WrestleVotes as he's penciled in as Randy's opponent now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great backup plan. Like
Rusev's coming back. It could be Rusev Day again, you know? Rusev versus Randy Orton. Doesn't that sound like a better match? No,
it doesn't.
It's Randy and Alistair Black. Because I mentioned to you earlier, I don't know if you saw it prior to that.
No.
The fact that WWE posted on X several years ago when Alistair Black was still under contract, building up that new character. They're like, who's next for Alistair Black? Who's going to answer his challenge? And Randy Orton tagged himself in response, but he never got that match. Yeah. So now's the time. And I think that's going to be a really banger WrestleMania match.
Banger after
banger. I can't wait to see if it is actually confirmed to be Alistair Black. We get to see that entrance again.
Oh, please keep it. It's
going to be huge.
Please
That's
keep
going to
it.
be huge.
Yeah, look, that to me, and I think that should be the story for the next couple of weeks, right? Is that Aldis is like, sorry, I don't have anything. And Randy's just like, give me anyone, give me someone.
Anyone.
And everyone's like,
put me on the show.
They don't want to face you, Randy. Like, they whoever it is going to lose. No one wants to go up against you. KO is crazy enough to do it, but there's no one in that locker room that wants to face Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And then he's like, just find me someone. And then he finds someone that's not in the locker room, and it's Alistair Black.
Can't wait for that. On that note, that's pretty much everything that we wanted to talk about this week, unless some last minute things come to your mind.
No, I just the Cena, the promo work from everybody in WWE at the moment is absolutely crushing it.
Tiffy and Charlotte
besides those two, because
I don't want to get all worked up about that again.
You've had your say?
Yeah. I'm still annoyed about it.
I'm sorry that I got so squeaky.
It's all right.
Okay?
It's
kind of
Thank you for tuning in.
It's kind of like
I'm
the Mandy Rose segment. For those that have gone and seen our TikToks,
he baited me so fucking hard
so
with
bad.
that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. If you haven't looked, go back and look at our TikToks and our shorts, because there was the online raucous opinion that Mandy Rose was the original person from NXT to be a double champ.
The women's double champion.
Because she won the NXT
UK
and the women's one. But she combined them.
Yeah, she unified them.
And so I decided to, just play devil's advocate.
I thought you were being fucking serious.
I rolled you. So good. So perfect.
Well, it made good. It's done good on all the platforms that we put it on. So controversy,
ladies and gentlemen, we got
him. Ladies and gentlemen. Not that we're getting any, but creates views and clicks and likes and comments, which is good. Thank you for tuning in. We have been Down Under the Bat. This has been Dan Danielson. I've been wweraw. We will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And we will see you next time. Down Under the Mat. Too sweet.